Hi everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Tuesday Talk, and today we are going to discuss police brutality. Well, just a particular incident that has been all over the news, all over the internet. It has been talked about and talked about and talked about. And so I just thought, well, why don't I just be an extra person to talk about it? And you guys can share your perspective. If you have a perspective, if you have an opinion or whatever you may think about it, you can chime in down in the comments down below. Now, there was an incident that occurred, and it involved a police officer. Well, his title is School Resource Officer. His name is Ben Fields, and he was the School Resource Officer of Spring Valley High School. And what happened was that there was a young lady that was about 16 years old. Apparently she was looking at her cell phone, which is against the rules in her school, in her classroom. She was looking at her cell phone, and the teacher asked her to leave. I don't know if he asked her multiple times and she didn't comply. We don't know that part. All we know is that she was asked to put her cell phone away. Well, she wasn't even asked, she was just asked to leave. And so the young lady decided she wasn't going anywhere. And so the teacher called for the Mr. Fields, who is the school resource officer. Now, what he did was completely uncalled for and just beyond, taking it too far. He grabbed her by her neck while she was still in her desk, threw her and the desk across the room. Now, when I saw the video, and it's on video, it's clear the young lady did not resist him in any way. He's a big, grown, strong, grown man versus this young 16-year-old kid. And he just threw her around like a rag doll. And I thought that was just completely ridiculous. Now, what disturbed me the most was that of the reaction of some of the people on social media. A lot of people were saying that he was well within his right to do what he did because she's a child. When a child is told to do something, she should do it. And I get that. But nobody deserves to be thrown around in that way and assaulted in that way. Number one, they should have had a female physically not pick her up, but just take her by the arm and walk her out the class. You know what I'm saying? All of that thrown across the room, put her in a chokehold, all that crazy stuff that he was doing, that was completely overkill. It was completely overkill. And he could have seriously injured her. Now, I don't know if the young lady was seriously injured, but she could have really, really hurt herself, And I think that the police officer's actions, Mr. Fields, his actions were like really ridiculous. And from what the students were saying, this is not something that is new with him. He's known around the school as Officer Slam because he likes to body slam students. Now, I don't know why the administration has allowed him to be that way towards kids. Now, for parents who can't even spank their own kids, if I went to the school, my child misbehaved, and I went to the school and I spanked her, somebody would call DCF on me or the police and have me put in jail. Now, he could body slam a kid and everybody's fine with it. I don't really understand how that happens and how that works. And now, this entire situation has opened up a debate about disrespectfulness in children. And I get it. I was raised at the end of old school where you were seen and not heard, and whenever an adult told you to do something, you did it, or there were, you know, consequences and repercussions that you would have to, and you know, you were going to suffer from. And so I was beaten as a child, and I guess that experience just caused me to think a little bit, have a little bit more sympathy towards kids nowadays, you know, but not even just nowadays, but just overall have a little bit more sympathy. I do not agree with people where the parents handling kids in that way, because it's an abuse of power. You know, it's an abuse of brute strength. You know that you're bigger and stronger than this kid, and you can do whatever you want, and that child really has no way to defend herself. And even if she would have attempted to defend herself, he would have probably tried to shoot her, he probably would have tried to choke her out. God knows where this situation would have escalated to if she would have resisted in any way, shape, or form. There should be guidelines, there should be, you know, rules set in place on how to deal with a non-compliant or disruptive student. That does not include violence. Just like in the prisons, when they're dealing with an unruly inmate, you know, they don't have a right to throw that person around or choke them unconscious or anything like that. You are trained, the COs, correction officers, are trained to subdue them, you know, or restrain them in a fashion that keeps the officer safe and keeps themselves, the inmates, safe from themselves. Now, I've seen so many videos of a lot of teachers, former teachers, who are like really angry and upset because, you know, they have really no voice, and this situation has just opened up an entire dialogue on the disrespectfulness of kids. And just recently, yesterday, I saw a video that was taken by a student, and it was of a classroom with a few students in it, not very many, and apparently there was a substitute teacher. Now, I went to high school, I went to middle school, and substitute teachers were treated like garbage. Nobody listened to them, you know, it just depended on the substitute teacher. Some substitutes didn't play that. Like, you knew if so-and-so was a substitute, you had to get right or you was in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But there were some substitutes who were a little, you know, meek at heart and didn't really, you know, enforce anything. They just told you what you had to do. And kids just used that opportunity to take advantage of the situation and act the fool. Now, in this particular video, it was a bunch of teenagers, and they were terrorizing this poor lady. This lady was literally just sitting at her desk. She looked so stunned. She didn't really know what to do. The boy, I guess she was taking roll and calling out different names to see who was present and who wasn't. And the boy was just like cursing her out. He picked up a desk, and attempted to, like, I guess he was threatening her that he was going to throw the desk on her. She called for security. No security came. She's sitting in the classroom by herself with these little heathens. You know, you got another teenage girl standing close by her, taking her fist and hitting the chalkboard with her fist, trying to intimidate this lady. And I was just like, looking at this video, like, this is the reason why I changed my major in human services, because I will go to jail. With my temperament and the way that I am, children don't scare me, you know. And for the most part, people don't scare me. But I don't do well with bullies. And they were bullying this lady, like bullying her, you know. And I thought it was completely ridiculous that she called for security and nobody came. And these kids were literally terrorizing her. And I'm just like what? When is it going to end? When is there going to be a system put in place that holds these kids accountable for their actions? Because if that were me, I would have called the police and I would have pressed charges against all of the students who were trying to intimidate me or threaten assault against me, because it's just absolutely ridiculous. Now, you know good and well you don't act like that with your mom and daddy. Well, you maybe, I don't know, you know. But to be in a classroom with a bunch of teenagers that are threatening you. I mean, I went to school where books were thrown, they would turn the lights off, and they would pull the wig off the teacher's head. Like, they would just be completely and utterly horrible. See, my mama didn't play that. Okay? My behind would have got beat down. So I sat in the back and I didn't say jack. You know, I tried not to even be noticed, because I didn't want to be a part of none of that, because I didn't want my mama to get wind of it. But I think the issue with these kids nowadays is that there's no fear for authority. There's no respect or reverence for authority, you know, because they do what they want, they say what they want, you know, and it's just, parents have no control over them. And it's just getting to the point where it's just becoming so ridiculous. And there was this huge fight that says that, you know, even though the police officer went too far with that young girl, you know, she still did not listen to him when she was told to exit the class. And I think that goes in part to, it has a lot to do with what she was going through, you know, as a child. You know what I'm saying? Because she doesn't have any parents, she's in foster care, she's going through a whole lot of different things, so you kind of understand, you know, she may be going through some emotional issues that, you know, nobody is aware of. And a lot of these kids are. But there has to be some rules, there has to be rules and regulations on how to handle kids. There are some people that are great at handling kids. There are some people that are just, they don't need to be nowhere around nobody's kids, you know. And regardless of what anybody's opinions are, if that was your child being picked up by her neck and thrown across the room while sitting in her desk, somebody would be going to jail, or a whole lot of hell would be raised. And I always tell people it's easy for you to judge a situation when it's not your child. Now that I am a mother, if somebody threw my baby around the school, I will be going to jail, because I will go find him, bump the police, bump all that nonsense, you know. And I think after all of the press and all of the negative press came about, that is when the decision was made for him to become terminated, and he was terminated for his actions. And he should have been, because that's completely ridiculous. You don't do a child like that. But I know I've been all over the place, but what do y'all think? You know, these kids are so out of control. It's like you see so many videos, like, I don't post stuff like that. I don't seek out videos of fighting and, you know, kids being disrespectful and post it online, because it's just like, why? What is the point? I don't like glorifying that nonsense. But I see it all the time where you see kids are disrespectful. You know, I even have like friends who post videos of their kids doing disrespectful things, being disrespectful, saying things out of turn, and they find it funny. And I think, you know, we're living in a different age where the parents are a lot more lenient, because I guess their parents were really strict on them. So they are very laid back with their kids. They give them lots and lots and lots of electronics. They give them lots and lots of freedom. Lots and lots of just, you know, just free reign to just be themselves. And a lot of that comes with consequences, because kids are not mature enough to balance out their emotions, and a lot of times they act out in ways that, you know, are unbecoming, and especially when they think they're not going to get in trouble, you know. And so I think this entire situation and incident, you know, opened my eyes up, you know, so that I could teach my child, listen, if an adult tells you to do something, you need to do it. If it's not anything bad, if you have an issue or a problem with, just go to the principal's office and address it with them. You know, address it to them. You know, and so that's it. You know, you got to teach them to have respect for authority and respect for people, because when you become an adult, you have to be respectful, or you're not going to get a job. You're not going to keep a job. You're not going to have friends. You're just going to be by yourself. You have to be able to respect people. And so, I mean, what do y'all think about what took place? I mean, such a horrible situation. What do y'all think took place? Do you think that the police was justified in his actions? Do you think that there was, was a split? Like they both share responsibility. The young lady should have complied, or this entire situation would not have gone as far as it did if she would have just left the classroom like the teacher asked her to. What do y'all think? And what are your rules in how others handle your children? I have made it very, very clear with my parents and any other adult, because of the things that have happened to me and my brother as children, because we were beaten so bad and we were punished so severely, like very, very harshly. In a lot of instances, it went too far, and it did go into abuse, because discipline is one thing, when you are disciplined, in my opinion, I felt like a certain parent, kids are gonna make mistakes, kids are gonna do bad things, kids are gonna screw up. That's what kids do. That's a part of childhood. But I thought that one parent in particular took it personally when we did something wrong, because we knew better. And so it was like a personal attack against that parent. And that parent just took the discipline to a whole nother level, because it's like, okay, you know better, so I'm going to make you pay for this. You know what I'm saying? Stupid stuff like that. Now, growing up, dealing with stuff like that, where you were punished not because of what you did, but because you insulted someone because you so-called, quote-unquote, knew better, I have made it clear. Do not touch my child. If you want to see me go crazy on your ass, do not hit my child. No one is allowed to corporally punish my child in any way, shape, or form. Any way, shape, or form. If you have an issue with my child, you come to me and I will handle it myself. Don't take it upon yourself, because I will forget I am related to you. And I'll just leave that where that is. Because I just, we went through so much as kids, like, we went through so much. I would never want my child to experience the kind of, stuff that I did, and I mean, I had respect for authority, but I was also scared of my own parent, like terrified of that parent, and even to this day, our relationship is horrible, because it affects you. The things that you do to kids, they don't forget. A lot of people, they do things and I'm just like, you don't forget what folks do to you. You have to be very careful what you say to kids and what you do to them. And in the defense of that young girl, it was ridiculous. And I'm one of those kids that, oh, you ain't got to beat me but once, honey. Once I get how you are, once I understand, I am a conformist. I'll do whatever you ask me to do. If a person asks me to do something, I'm just going ahead and do it, because I don't want no trouble, because I know how you are. You know what I'm saying? But my brother wasn't like that. He was like, okay, well, that person gonna find a reason to beat me anyway, so I might as well just do it and have a good time doing it. And that was his philosophy. He didn't give a damn. I don't like nobody beating up on me. But yeah, I know I said all that to say, what y'all think? It's a little ridiculous. Just a little little ridiculous. And so, let me know down below how y'all feel about it, and what do y'all feel like, what do you think administrators and all schools alike should put in place to prevent situations like this from happening? I believe that there should be a resource officer in all schools, you know, from elementary to high school to college, you know, because there's too many bad things that have shootings, you know, excessive bullying, and just the school has like no control over nobody no more. And when they took a lot of the discipline out of schools, that's when kids just went completely out of control. When parents stopped checking in on kids, showing up at the schools unannounced to see what these kids were doing, you know, that's when kids just feel like, oh, I can do what I want to do. But see, the funniest thing is that we live in the wonderful 21st century where we have video cameras. And so now I can tell you the stuff that I went through, but now these kids, everything they record. And so they pretty much tell on their own self, because you can't really lie on a child no more, because it's like, your friend took a video of it, dum-dum. Stop taking videos of every damn thing. Everything they take videos of. So it's just like, if I complain on a child, it's not my word against that child. One of your friends got a video of what you did. And so you're going to get in trouble regardless. And so it's just like, you know, the kids nowadays are so silly. They take videos of everything, take pictures of everything, and they stay in trouble. But anyway, I'll let y'all go. But I just wanted to talk about this situation because I thought it was a little bit ridiculous. And, y'all leave y'all comments down below. Let me know what you think. And I will talk to you guys next time on another Tuesday Talk. Bye-bye.